an emotional night, of course, for Rory and McKenzie, but it was actually a fairly competitive game, given it was pre-season. Is that exactly what you're looking for with the games coming up thick and fast now?
100%. I think it was a good choice, a game. You know, I think Rory and his committee could maybe have selected something else, and you maybe don't get quite the same occasion. So full marks to Ayr United. They more than contributed to what was an excellent night. But the start of the show is Rory. I spoke to the players in the dressing room at the end there about that loyalty and how good a servant he's been. You look at the games, the achievements. I just think he's just a model pro. I've only had a couple of weeks working with him, but he just shows you the kind of class act that he is off the pitch. But you also see, I thought in the 60 minutes he played, the good player that he is. He'll not want me reminding anybody about the penalty miss. But no, genuinely I thought it was a fitting night for what's been an absolute standout player for a football club.
And you've only been here, of course, for a few weeks. How do you feel like you're settling in? The players, are they getting to grips with what you're wanting from them now this season?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of change. You know, as I say, managers see the game a completely different way. There is no right and wrong in this game. I suppose the right and wrong is trying to win games of football. But I think it would be fair to say that I'm asking them to play a different way from what Derek maybe did over the last few years, because, as I say, we all see the game in a different fashion. But football's football at the end of the day. But the pleasing thing for me was I think we had full control of a competitive game. Probably the exception of a sort of 10-minute period at the end of the first half. And then the next bit that we need, you always find at pre-season, is that we're getting into the correct areas of the park. It's just that final pass, that final action, the finishing touch to what's been some decent play for us at times tonight. But ultimately we fall back and we say it's a fitness exercise. Can we come out of here tonight with everybody still fit? And it looks at this point as if everybody's in a decent place, which is great.
And you're number 9, of course. He's only in the door a few weeks, and a lot was made about his height. I think he's 6'7".
Yeah.
But he looks very, very physical. Do you think he's one that can really cause problems for teams in the Premiership this season?
Yeah, listen, Marcus has had a fair old journey as a player, and I've always tried to latch on to a project. I think most people will see that with a lot of players that I've worked with through the years. And I don't say project being disrespectful, it's just he needs to find a home, he needs to find a profile, how he plays. I would discourage people just to purely look at his size, because he's actually got a soft touch, he's actually got some decent movement at times. I think he can get so much better. You probably hear me shouting at him a fair bit at the side of the park. It's just because I feel that we can unlock so much more in him. Really humble lad, coming to a different country, playing in a different league. It'll take him a wee bit to settle, but I thought he had some good moments in the game, and I'm hopeful that he'll be a really big player for us over the season.
Mark straight in for his debut after signing today. Pleased to get him on board.
Yeah, he's a character. He's somebody with great experience, obviously in this league, down south. But when he walks in the door, I'm looking for different types, different personalities, and it's fair to say that Max isn't shy. And I think that he kind of shows that in his goalkeeping, because he's got a presence, he's got a calmness. I'm pitching somebody in there with great experience into what's already, you know, a pretty well versed goalkeeping department. So real competition for places. We've kind of thrust him in just off the back of nothing tonight, just to make sure that he starts to get his minutes in. But I thought he acquitted himself really well, and it's fair to say that he's going to be a character in the dressing room, which is brilliant.
We didn't see Robbie McCrory tonight in the squad. Is there a reason behind that?
Yeah, he's injured. I think everyone will have seen that with the situation with Scotland. When he was away with Scotland, he had a bit of a thigh tear, as it were. He'd done a couple of days training with us, felt it again. We've had it scanned, and it looks like he'll be out for a couple of weeks.
And it was a slightly different role than what we're used to seeing from Kyle McGuinness playing out there in the left wing back role. Is that a role that you see him fulfilling going forward?
Yeah, listen, we're also still trying to get a balance to our squad. And re-signing Kyle, I'm signing a really good player, first and foremost. Brilliant type about the place. Somebody that I've admired from afar for a lot of years, it's fair to say. But he can play a number of different roles in a number of different positions. And yeah, so tonight he plays on that left-hand side, he can play on the right side, he can play in the centre of the park. You know, so there's no qualms about that. One of the games that I actually seen Kyle as a standout, I think he wears a head bandage in it a while back against Hearts, and it was probably one of his standout performances for Kilmarnock. So he can do a number of roles and he can do them very well.
Is there any update on the trialist goalkeeper and potentially the that striker Daniels?
No update at this point. No, nothing really to pitch in. As always, I'll say that we'll announce it as and when, if there's any signings coming in, any change at the football club. The media team here are brilliant, so they'll do it at the earliest opportunity.